In this video, I'm going to be going over 9 of the biggest lessons I've learned for and since running an AI agency for a year and like 2 months now. So if you guys don't know who I am, my name's Liam. I've been trying to build an AI agency, almost $1 million AI agency, an AI agency since March of 2025. Since March of 2025, I bought Wyatt Roderick and Carson Reed's AI agency course, spent $5,000 on it. Long story short, didn't get the value out of it that I was promised nor that I thought I would do. They didn't run their own agency at the time when I got it. Despite that, I partnered up with another guy. I got kicked out of that course after 6 months, partnered up with another guy. We ran together. We ran our own agency, running our own ads, our own client fulfillment, everything like that. Together, we spent, thousands of dollars on Facebook ads. We spent thousands of dollars on mentors. Recently spent $7,500 on my recent set of mentors. We learned service delivery, all of this. So we've learned by ourselves for like 6 months, and then in Wyatt and Carson's for another 6. Recently broke up with my business partner, but basically everything up until that, I've been documenting. So I've been documenting daily on my Instagram. I've been documenting monthly on my YouTube, just some of the biggest stuff, some of the biggest things I've learned, some of the biggest stories, all of this. And I basically compiled all of those videos. I've gone through all of them, as well as I've made a yearly one here. And I picked out 9 themes and 9 of the biggest like epiphanies, wake up calls for me within the AI agency that I want to share for you guys. So this video, I'll go over, briefly touch on it, what it means for it. And then I'm gonna make an in-depth video on each one, basically talking about the story behind it. So with that being said, I'll jump into the first one, which are ads are king. So ads are king. And I'm sure if you're in the agency space, if you're in SMMA, if you're in the AI agency space, you will have heard this. And I 100% agree with this. So for me, when I first was in Wyatt and Carson's course, I spent my last $5,000 on there. I didn't have a job at the time, so obviously couldn't run ads. So I was stuck cold calling. I was stuck doing the whole 9 yards. Actually, one thing I did do that actually helped me quite a bit was content. But at the end of the day, Wyatt and Carson gave really good info on content because they are marketers. But anyways, I had to do cold calling. I had to do everything else besides ads. And the results that I had were nothing near the amount that ads were. Now, to the extent of the work I was putting in, it probably wasn't a fair deal to look at, as far as what you put in for ads, what you put in for cold calling are way different. But my success with ads were way more than cold calling, than any other method that I tried to get clients, cold email, all of this. So ads are king. As long as you have the resources for it, run ads. So that's the first lesson. Second lesson is that client communication is everything. So I'll briefly touch on the story here. Basically, what I mean behind this is that keeping in touch with your client, talking with your client, being very communicative with it is so important. And I ended up losing a deal. Well, not necessarily me, but I ended up losing a deal because of it. So basically, the timeline of how this looks, we signed this guy for $6,600. So this was like a big ticket item. We signed him for $6,600 upfront. This was a one-call close. We closed him. The company, or we were using fan basis, they ended up double charging him. Or no, it was Amex who double charged. He was asking for questions. And we weren't communicative at all. I was working with a guy at this point. We weren't communicative. He ends up charging back. We lose this guy. We try to text them. We try all of this. Completely ghosts us, charges back. So being communicative with your clients is going to be everything. And it has to be top notch all the time, right on the ball. So that's the second lesson that I learned. Third lesson is that your network is going to be a big part of what it is that you do. So I'll give 2 examples on this. Number one is that when I was inside the course in Wyatt and Carson's community, or in their course, just going to call it a course, I was in there with, when I first started, it was like 250 people, 300 people. And some of the people I met in there were killers. So I talk about this, and this is a statistic. Out of 100 people who start something, after a year, only 2 people are going to continue to be doing it. And for me, that was accurate. So let's say 300 people. There's probably just under 10 people that were killers, to the extent where I judge myself. Obviously, it's going to be convoluted. But the people I met in there were very beneficial for me, and not just beneficial for me in like the sense where they gave value, where I could give value too, but they were there for support. They were there for just camaraderie, right? Keeping you going. Stuff that they learned, they would always share. So your network is going to be a huge part of it. And then secondly, my business partner, who we're not working together anymore, but my business partner, I met him inside of there, and we had a lot of success together within the 6-ish months that we worked together. So your network is going to be a big part of that. Number 4 is to focus on needle moving tasks. Now, this is arguably just like a worldly lesson that we can all follow, but this is a big thing I learned in the agency. I kind of knew this before, but this really put it into perspective for me. So to give you reference on this, we were trying, because I also have an AI business channel, and we were trying to basically advertise for these guys and have like a low ticket sell. So it was like it was like a course kind of thing where we were like, hey, like if you guys don't want us to do this, this is how you can learn it. We were looking at it for a downsell. We ended up spending like a month and a half on this, and we weren't running ads at this point. We weren't doing anything in the background that were getting us calls. We were doing this for like a month and a half, just creating stuff from scratch that wasn't even arguably valuable content. It was just like a big long VSL. And one thing that was blaring in our face was that so many of the guys that we worked with, or that we were trying to work with, that we were advertising for, they said that they didn't have time to hop on the call with us. They didn't have 5 minutes to hop on a call. And we were trying to get them to watch a 3-hour long VSL. We spent a month and a half doing this, and we ended up just completely abandoning it. Like, we finished it and we got no success off of it, right? So we wasted a month and a half of time working on something that didn't move the needle at all. Not something you want to do. That's number 4. Number 5 is that your ICP is going to be very, very, very important. So when I mean ICP, I mean your ideal client profile. And within that, that means when you're targeting to people, you need to know exactly who it is that you are going to target. If you don't know who exactly you're going to target, you're going to attract low quality people. You're going to attract, people that are ambiguous to what it is that you're trying to offer. And your ICP is going to be all over the place, which means when you're trying to get, When you're trying to get experience for a certain type of people, you're not going to be able to get it because everyone is going to be all over the place. So make sure you get your ICP down, and it is a very important aspect of everything that you do within the agency. So that was a big lesson. Number 6 is that when you're first starting out, you have to take what you can get. Now, this is a big one, and this is one that my business partner and I made a lot of mistakes on. When you're first starting out though, and you're running ads, you're cold calling, your whatever source of acquisition it may be, when you get a client, a potential client, someone who agrees to you, agree to it. Even if they're not paying you very much, even if you know they're going to be a crappy client, agree to it, because at the end of the day, you can't pick and choose at the point where you are right now, right? You don't have anyone. You don't have any testimonials. You don't have any experience. If you have an opportunity to take it, you better darn take it. So that was a big thing. We said no to this guy who was willing to pay us $1,000. This wasn't even like I'll pay you, like performance-based thing. This was, I'll pay you $1,000, and we still said no. So pretty brutal there, but a hard lesson learned. When you're starting out, take whatever you can, right? Take whatever you can. The number 7 is that your first time is going to be raw experience. Your first time fulfilling for a client, I should say. And that can either be good or bad. So there's always going to be pros and cons to it. Your first pro is that you're going to get your first experience, right? At the end of the day, the fulfillment experience that you get is going to be very valuable, right? It's going to move forward into all of the other clients that you're going to have in the future. And then the bad is that at the end of the day, you're not going to be as versed in client fulfillment as you would be if you had a lot of experience. Because of that, we ended up wasting some of our clients' ad spend who didn't have much ad spend to work with, which was bad. But at the end of the day, we learned the lesson that we're never going to do again. Now, me telling you this lesson, you can take from it and know, the first time that you're working with clients, actually, this will tie us into our 8th point. When you're working with clients, you need to be as diligent as you can. So referring back to the time where we lost ad spend, we should have been way more diligent. We should have been monitoring it with a stethoscope, with a microscope, seeing how the results were, cut it after, like a couple $100 spent, knowing that we weren't getting the results we were getting. Maybe do more market research, see specifically for the market that they're in, change the ads up, right? Maybe run another pair of ads as well. We also lost a client job because of that, and that'll be a story I talk on in the video for number 8. But be as diligent as you can with your clients, as careful as you can, show as much effort as you can into it. And yeah, that's another very important lesson. And then the last biggest lesson that I've learned in this year is that if your clients don't want an upsell, you can't continue to push for it. So you can't continue to push for something that your clients don't want. And this is a very long-winded story, and I've told this story quite a few times across quite a few videos. But basically, right, if you're on a call with your client and they're telling you like, hey, I don't want that, or hey, like, no, you can't keep saying, oh, well, yeah, oh, well, yeah, you should do this. Oh, yeah, well, if you don't do this, then we're going to do X, or we're not going to do X. You're shooting yourself in the foot. Like, client trust and communication is going to be so important. And if you screw that up with even this, like, that goes back to client communication, right? This is the second lesson, that communication is everything. But if you're communicative, but you're still a you-know-what to them, they're going to lose trust for you, right? So if your clients don't want something, don't want an upsell, you can't continue to push for it. So those are the 9 biggest lessons that I've learned. I hope you guys take from that what you will. Again, I'm going to make a video specifically on each one and what, the story behind it, how I learned it, what it looked like for me, so that you guys can model that and hopefully avoid it in your journey starting an AI agency. So thank you guys for watching. Make sure to join my free AI agency Discord as well. It'll be linked in the description. And follow me on Instagram, DM me on Instagram, or respond to all my DMs. Anything, doesn't matter what it is. So thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next one.